It's not just talking about scholar activism, it's actually implementing it.
Our class is a Transnational Border Lab course focusing on questions around mobility and scholar activism in theory and practice. The class is working with a community organization in Mexico City, Otros Dreams and Acción, an organization led by deported and returned youth and their allies. And so students from ODA and a co-teacher from ODA were already participating in the class. So we had students in the class present from New York, from the new school, and the students from ODA were present virtually. So we were already using that, and not just using it, but really immersing ourselves in questions about the limits and the possibilities that the technology was offering us in this classroom and what it implied in terms of pedagogy.
It's been a really interesting dynamic and experience because we've also been like acknowledging what it means to be part of this process beyond borders, and what it means for some of our classmates to have mobility and some not have mobility. I think the fact that we were part of it with people that are going through family separation, who are in exile, with people that have scholar backgrounds, but also activist backgrounds. I think just putting all those ingredients from the beginning of the course was really essential. And now with the pandemic, like the way I see it is now it's a reality that is affecting everybody around the world in different ways or in different layers. And I think our class has also been able to address and acknowledge those different layers and how people are being affected in different ways. And I think people that have been deported or returned, in our case, as part of the course, is also assuming and acknowledging this reality that many people in my community have already used digital platforms to stay connected with loved ones, to be part of births, to be part of funerals and parties. I mean, it's been a reality.
What's been nice is continuing to see each other's faces, and now in smaller groups. So we started as over 20 people, and now that we have smaller groups to work with, we have the ability to kind of get to know each other better and work directly on something together.
How does a course that has focused on borders and mobility and sort of centers these questions that are very much at the, some of the key questions that are coming up in the pandemic, with the closing of borders, the increasing restrictions to mobility. How do you take these to other spaces that are not talking about these questions and demonstrate the connections across issues?
Through our projects, we're able to engage a broader public. And I think that we're potentially able to connect with people around these issues in a deeper way because of what they're experiencing right now.
And I think part of our project in Conectarte or Connect Arte has been really amazing, and we've received, over 35 submissions because, as what Julia was also mentioning, like it's been, I think, easier sort of to get to other audiences and to put this narrative to other people because now they're going through something similar.
I think now more than ever, the pandemic shows something that the movement for immigrant rights has always put front and center, to say your liberation is tied to mine. Right? If I'm not flourishing, if I'm not healthy, then that affects the whole of society. And there is nothing more, there's no better example than this moment to show that if someone does not have access to healthcare, if someone is working in a precarious job that has no health insurance, that has no protections in terms of safety in the work environment, that has reverberations across the whole of society and at the most extreme and critical way in this particular moment. So it calls us to say, to not just say, but to act with a notion of this mutuality that ties us together.